It's time for all secrets to be revealed now that MJ wants in. August, New York City. Harry takes another sip of his drink at the bar and glances at his wife. "They're late. Are you sure they're coming?" Gwen asks him. He nods and finishes the drink. "I am. They're the kind of people you can always count on. They are exactly who they appear to be," he reminds her. She rolls her eyes at him. "To be so lucky," she mumbles. Harry motions for the bartender to pour him another drink. "You think it has anything to do with luck?" he asks quietly. She shakes her head and explains that some people have circumstances in life that don't require moral flexibility. "We are what the world allows us to be, dear," she reminds him. He turns as someone approaches and smiles at Peter and Mary Jane. The couple say hello and hug, but Mary Jane points out that the restaurant is completely empty. "Where is everyone?" she asks. Harry shrugs and rubs the back of his head sheepishly. "It's embarrassing, but we rented out the whole place and flew in a new crew and staff. Can't have people finding out I'm not dead," he tells them. He motions them to a lone set table in the back of the restaurant. "You guys hungry?" he asks. Mary Jane cocks an eyebrow at them both. "More curious than hungry, but sure," she says. Harry nods and puts an arm around her shoulder, promising that tonight they will answer any questions that she has. "Trust me, MJ, you're gonna get everything on the menu. No secrets, no lies. Whatever you want to know, we'll tell you," he explains. They all sit down and Mary J points out that the last time they had dinner, she didn't realize the secret life that everyone was living. Harry points to Peter with his fork. "I told him to tell you," he says to her. Peter looks at his friend in exasperation. "Such a good friend," he grumbles. But Harry shakes his head, pointing out that Gwen had also been keeping a secret from him at that point. "And how did you feel about it?" Mary Jane asks. Harry ponders it for a moment. "Confused, excited, worried, and maybe a little betrayed," he finally says softly. Gwen finally nods and joins in. "But I had good reasons, just like Peter did. It was a secret between people who aren't supposed to have them. Almost everyone calls that betrayal," she says. MJ looks at her and points out that she doesn't seem overly sorry about her actions. Gwen shakes her head and looks to her husband. "My apology was saving his life," she explains. Meanwhile, back at the home of Anna Watson, Uncle Ben turns on the TV and suggests that they watch a movie. "I don't really watch TV, Uncle Ben," Richard says, pointing out that the film is rated R and their parents probably wouldn't be okay with May watching it. "It's okay, May's asleep," Ben says as he motions to the little girl with her eyes closed, but May opens an eye and looks at them. "I'm not asleep, I just have my eyes closed super tight," she says with a smile. Ben smiles down at her. "Ha! That was a trap. I really just wanted to know if you were asleep or not," he tells her and orders her to head to bed. Aunt Anna takes the child's hand and leads her away. Finally, Ben turns to Richard. "Instead of watching a movie, let's say we talk about how much trouble you've been getting in," Ben suggests. Richard turns away from his uncle. "I really don't want to talk about it, Uncle Ben," he sighs. Meanwhile, back at the restaurant, things aren't going great. Gwen is watching Mary Jane, asking her to list her questions so that they can start to answer them and move past this distrust. "I have a billion questions. I mean, I know about Peter, but the two of you? I have no idea what's at play. How many people around you know what's really going on? Do they know about us? What enemies do you have that we don't know about?" Mary Jane asks, glaring sharply at Gwen. "The point is, it's become obvious to me that the three of you are joined at the hip," Mary Jane explains. Gwen nods understandingly. "You're worried about your kids," she states simply. "Of course we are, and about each other, and the two of you, for the record," Peter adds as he joins in. "So that's the real question? Not whether the battle is righteous or worth it, or if you can even win. What you really care about is what it might cost, Gwen points out. MJ glares and jabs a finger at her. Damn right I do, and you talk like you don't have anything to lose, MJ snaps, reminding the group that Gwen has been posing as a villain this entire time. Back at the house, Richard is running through the entirety of the events when he took the suit and went to try and help Felicia, explaining to Ben that he was scared, but the suit protected him, and he doesn't understand why his parents are upset, since everything is okay and he has the suit. My parents just think I can't handle it. Plus, I really want to see her again. He finally finishes and looks at Ben. Ben just stares back at him for a minute. I thought you didn't want to talk about it, he finally says. I thought we could manage it. I thought I could. But the danger, the running, the secrets, our children. Where does it end? When does it stop? MJ asks, tears glistening in her eyes. Gwen reaches for a glass of wine and takes a sip. It only ends when we win, she says simply. MJ stops and glares at her for a moment, before pushing away from the table and walking away to the bathroom. Peter sighs and looks at his friends. I want to thank you both for how well you've handled this. Really, a fantastic job, he says sarcastically. But Gwen pushes away from the table and follows MJ. Inside, she tries to apologize for what she did. Not for the content, but for the way she said it so bluntly. But I don't think we can win without your husband. When people look up and hope someone will save them, it's him they want to see, she says, explaining that Peter has an innocent view of the world, and it's a weakness. Everyone has a weakness. You only have powers when you have your amulet, MJ points out as she wipes her eyes. Gwen nods, explaining that without her powers, she is vulnerable and useless. Like you and your children. Except with you, it's every minute of every day, Gwen says as she straightens her clothes in the mirror. MJ glares at her for a moment in shock, before her face softens. So, when do you get the amulet back? She asks. Gwen turns to her and narrows her eyes. In 11 days. Why? She asks. MJ moves fast, balling her fist and taking a swing. The punch hits Gwen square in the face and sends her stumbling back, staggering and falling to a seat in one of the stalls, where MJ leaves her. Quickly, she rejoins the husbands at the table. Peter stares at her for a moment. Hey, what happened? He finally sighs. MJ shrugs and points at them both. You're a good man, Peter. And you could be too, Harry. But your wife, she's gonna get everyone killed. And someone needs to do something about that, MJ tells them both. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the city, Martin Lee reaches for his sword, the negative energy glowing around him as incense burns in his chambers. He oils the blade and stares at a picture of Mysterio, his next target. And that was the complete story for Ultimate Spider-Man issue 20 by Jonathan Hickman. Many secrets revealed, and Mr. Negative has a plan in the works, it seems. What'll happen next? We'll just have to wait until next time. But what did you think about today's video? Let me know in the comments below. And I apologize if my voice was lower than normal. I'm getting kinda sick. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for notifications on videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm Dan with Comicstorian, and we will see you next time. Rest in peace, Benny.